can make it!
I just saw Tomb Raider and it's fine, I guess. You know, it's not a good movie and it's not a terrible movie. It's just kind of there. You know, obviously it's a video game adaptation. It's also a kind of a reboot of the Angelina Jolie series, which is based off the video game franchise. This is kind of a new step in the direction for the character. And this movie is very much so Batman Begins for Lara Croft. So yeah, played by Alicia Vikander, this new millennial version of Lara Croft is extremely hip. She's hesitant to kind of tap into her family inheritance. The Croft family is very overwhelmingly wealthy for generations. And so she works as a bike courier. She's struggling for money, and there's kind of this weird bike chase sequence at the beginning of the movie just because she wants to make some money. She's hesitant to take on the responsibility of doing her boardroom. She still struggles with the idea of what happens with her father, and she's very much so living her life to kind of try and uphold his legacy. Directed by Roar Uthog, excuse me. The action sequences are okay when she is actually fighting people hand to hand. It looks good. She does kind of some MMA. She gets in deep. She gets them on the ground. She tumbles them. She wrestles them. And so that's entertaining to watch. But a lot of the visual moments are kind of sloppy. The CGI especially is not very good. The other characters in the movie are extremely weak. Her father, played by your boy McNulty, if you watch The Wire, Dominic West, he's fine. His character is kind of ridiculous. He plays her father. He's been obsessed about this, kind of where the plot is. I'm not going to spoil too much of it. Princess Minako, she's an ancient Japanese queen, and, you know, legend tells you that she carries death with her, and anybody who touches her, she dies. And so she was locked away, and there's this evil company, a very video game generic, kind of this Trinity Corporation that's have to steal her, and, you know, he's got to get there first. And what happens, and so there's a little bit of tension, and she eventually runs after him, and that's where the story goes, and that's where she finds her first tomb to become the new Tomb Raider. But it's just fine. It's just not very good. The villain, played by Walton Goggins, who's been in a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies, is just so one-dimensional. He's evil. You know, he wants to get back. He needs to finish this job so he can get back to his family, but, you know, he's working literally to kill everybody on the planet, so why you don't care about your family? It's such a weak character. He might as well just want the money. Like, it's so stupid. There's a few moments where this movie really does feel like a video game, and that's kind of where it thrives. There's a lot of big moments where it'd be inspired by these cutscenes, very slick, there's a lot of, she's jumping huge distances and catching on, and this girl, she must have such crazy finger strength because she's constantly just gripping like this and getting out of the craziest situations, and that's fine. That's fine. Look at Alicia Vikander's a buff girl, and she does a great job, honestly. She's hip. This version of Lara Croft is, like I said before, it's kind of like Batman Begins. She's trying to find herself and become this badass, and she's, throughout most of the movie, you know, she's not using guns. She's not the classic icon Lara Croft you'd expect. She's got the pickaxe. She's very much so an explorer first. And, you know, she does a lot of cool stunts, but she's not an action star. You see how these fights impact her. She's very much so a normal girl who's kind of going on an adventure trying to find her father. So she's motivated by this very childish, very innocent goal just to find her dad, and she gets kind of sucked into something that's much darker. And you see how that impacts her, and so that's well done, that's interesting. And if they do a sequel, you see what she'd be interested in doing and the path that she'd be on. But I don't think it's gonna do that well in the box office. I don't know the exact budget for Tomb Raider, but Assassin's Creed, for comparison, cost about $125 million, and it made $240 million in the box office, so it made a bit of a profit. And Tomb Raider is a bigger franchise than Assassin's Creed is. There's more hardcore, loyal, long-term fans. So I think it's gonna make money, and there might be a sequel, but it's not that good. It's not the amazing video game adaptation people have been waiting for, and I don't really think we're gonna get that for a while. It was just fine for a movie that wants to be gritty and realistic. And at the beginning, she even says, "I'm not a superhero." She survives so much, she feels almost like a god, or like these superheroes that they're making fun of. I'm not going to spoil anything, but just the amount of damage she takes. She should not be able to walk. You know, there's one part where she already kind of has this huge wound on her side, and she has trouble walking, and yet she can climb up the side of a mountain, and she's fine. And then when she's in that mountain, like 10 minutes later, she collapses. So it just makes no sense. She's vulnerable when it's convenient for the story, and she's invulnerable when it's necessary to make her look like a badass. And it's just does the basic necessities just well enough for this to make money, and for some people to say they love it, and for other people to say that it's just whatever. You know, I'm happy they set up her character for a while at the beginning, but it took a while for her to actually do some tomb raiding, and they could have sped it up. This movie was 2 hours and 2 minutes long, and it didn't need to be that long. It could have trimmed probably about 20 minutes, and it's just, you know, it's okay. I think I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10. It's, you know, it's a movie. It's okay. She's good. Alicia Vikander's good in it. Her character is okay. There's some good character establishment, but it's just, they try to be gritty, but it's so unrealistic at sometimes. And, you know, yeah, it feels like a video game. So for a video game movie, if you want to feel like you're watching a video game, you'll like it. But for as far as the cinematic or just the film side of it goes, wasn't that good. I'll pass.